Earlier this year, two-time Olympic gold medalist and World Cup champion Briana Scurry visited MPC to talk about her career and the challenges she faced becoming an international soccer legend.
I love playing different sports. When I was young, my parents were very willing to even let me play tackle football when I was in 4th and 5th grade. And soccer was just a sport that came along when I was in 6th grade. The teacher passed around flyers to everybody in the class and said, hey, join soccer. And I ran home with the flyer and asked my mom and dad if I could, and they were willing, and that's how that whole thing started. Ooh, I'd have to say my biggest influence were definitely my mom and dad. Not only were they great parents, but they were incredibly supportive in letting a little girl sometimes do things that only boys would do. And so they were very supportive in that. I told them when I was 8 years old that I wanted to be an Olympian, and they nurtured that little seed that that little girl had. And so they have always been the most influential people in my life. Ooh, there's a lot of great wins, right? My most memorable, I would have to say, is the one that most people wouldn't think. In 2004, we played in the Olympic final against Brazil. And 2 months before that, my father had passed away. And he was, as I said, one of the most important influencers in my life. And we were playing in that game, and I played like I was out of my body. And I had a fantastic game. It was the greatest game of my life. And we ended up going into overtime and winning that game. And that was the final for that Olympics. And so that was by far my most memorable game, even though it's not the one that most people think.
In 2010, Briana Scurry suffered a serious injury while playing for the Washington Freedom. The concussion she sustained was so severe that her recovery would later require brain surgery and years of rehabilitation.
My wife, Krissa, is an incredible inspiration to me. She is someone who has essentially rescued me from the depths of my concussion issues, and has given me the spirit to be relevant, the spirit to move on, to go forward, and to continue to make an impact in this world. Successful team is a lot of things. It's a lot of diverse players that have different abilities coming together. It's a team that has confidence in each other and themselves. It's players who are willing to do the hard things at times to be able to achieve the goal of winning or succeeding, however the team has determined that looks like. And it's really overcoming things, because success is not a straight line. For every team that becomes successful, they've had to overcome some things. And sometimes it's really difficult to do that. And that's really the biggest element, is being able to do that together. I learned to be vocal at an early age. I decided that I wanted to do certain things in my life. I wanted to be an Olympian at age 8 is probably when I learned that, because I said that and I declared that to my parents and my teachers and everyone who would listen. This is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna be. And it didn't matter that it seemed outlandish to other people. I continued to have faith in myself no matter what. And I would speak out for things that I thought were important, things that were having to do with fairness and equality and giving people a second chance if necessary, things that meant something about being a good person. We can solidify the opportunity for women and girls by being willing to have a look. I think a lot of people have an opinion about women's sports that is not true. I think a lot of people think it's slower, or it's not as technical, or not as strong or as beautiful as men's sports, but it definitely is. And when you really look at it, like my team, for example, at the game, the play, the tactics, the technical, the ability, the strength, the poise, the beauty of the play, they can definitely find that they will fall in love with it. My experience as an African-American lesbian woman in sport has always been really good. When it comes to my teammates who I've played different sports with, they've always treated me fairly, they've always understood me, they've always supported me. And in the times when I came out early in my career, they were very supportive of that as well, and I never had an issue. Now, I don't know how other people felt about me looking at me, but I've never had issue on any teams I've ever played on. I think the most rewarding thing about being on a team is together you can achieve way more than you could have done on your own. And that flip side of that same coin is what's also most challenging about it, is that you really do need the other person. And I think a lot of people think that they can rise up and that they rise up through the ranks on their own. But the truth is, no one does it by themselves. And the human experience truly is all about teamwork. If you're willing to be open to other people's potentially diverse opinions and ideas and incorporate them and create a space of empathy and understanding, and you're listening truly to other people's opinions and they listen to yours, then you can create something together that is so amazing that you'll be proud of it. And it's the case in life, it's the case in business, it's the case in the sport. Teamwork is what really creates the most amazing results.